Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Well, Monday night is in the books. Tomorrow is Tuesday's the players' day off, followed by Wednesday, where the Cowboys will be getting ready to take on the Green Bay Packers. And, you know, I can't believe the regular season is over. You know, when you get older, time flies by faster. And it may be because it's your perception of life. You know, at 58, a year is only a 58th of my life. As a 10-year-old, a year is a 10th of your life. And that seems like a big time frame. But just like that, it's done. We've been here before. In fact, this is 3 years running. 3 years running. Cowboys 12-5. I'll say that right now, the way the playoffs look, this is a down year. I would say in the NFC, when you think about Aaron Rodgers not there any longer, you think about Russell Wilson not there any longer, you think about Tom Brady not there any longer, you look at it and you say, you've got the best quarterback right now. Jason, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, Jason. Jason M. from San Francisco, I don't want to hear it. You got a bye week. Just shut the heck up, okay? I know you got the whole Brock Purdy thing and all that, but as I look at it right now, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I ask you 49er fans, where do you have a weakness on your front offense? What is your weakness? You got the best running back. You got the most physical wide receiver in Deebo Samuels, dynamic, who can run, he can catch, he can do it all. He can run over your ass. You got his Robin in Ayuk. You got one of the best tight ends in football in Skittle. And you got the best left tackle right now in Trent Williams, who literally ended up retiring Leighton Vander Esch. And the rest of the offensive line's not bad either. So when you talk about Brock Purdy, if there's any case of somebody just not messing it up, that would be Brock Purdy. Now, don't get me wrong. I think he's a really good quarterback. But as I look at the Dallas Cowboys, which has had a turnstile of players on the offensive line, you know, we probably had 10 guys starting on the offensive line. Easily. Our right tackle's coming back from an ACL. Still hasn't quite gotten it there. Tyron Smith misses games on a regular. We've had Zach Martin miss time. We've had Biotis miss time. We've had Tyler Smith miss time. We've had a lot of guys that have not played on that offensive line. Running game, I don't know that we could take all the guys we have combined and that you got Christian McCaffrey numbers. Tight ends, Jake Ferguson has been pretty good, but he's not George Kittle. And CD, I'll put against anybody. CD's had a better year. But you look at the rest of the guys, you know, everybody's 1,000 yards behind him. So, you know, if you're free to believe what you want to believe, go believe it someplace else. But for our Cowboys, point I was making tonight to my man Game Time Brian, shout out to Game Time. Game Time is putting in the work. He's growing. It's not easy to be a YouTuber. Trust me. You get a lot of shit everywhere. Trust me. It ain't easy, bro. Shout out to him putting in the work. This year, unlike last year, like the last few years, you think about last year, Zeke Elliott had the hyperextended knee in the middle of the season, slowed him down. Second half of the season wasn't as good as the first half. The year before that, it was the sprained MCL. You think about Tony Pollard, who had like the plantar fasciitis problem that he had the year before. And of course, Tony Pollard getting injured in the game against San Francisco. You think about Tyron Smith coming back last year from the hamstring being pulled off his thigh, off the bone, and then playing right tackle because, of course, we lost Terrence Steele. And having guys like Jason Peters, who's old as dirt, actually starting for you, and a rookie who started, who played tackle, who's trained in training camp as a guard. And CeeDee Lamb just beginning to be that number one wide receiver, having two rookies as your tight ends, and having Kellen Moore as a play caller. We went into all those playoff games and things like that with not the personnel that San Francisco had, but we were still in the game. We were still in the game. Going into this year, now Stephon Gilmore ended up popping his shoulder out. They popped that sucker back in, and he says it's okay, it'll be sore for a couple of days. He might be limited, but right now, who isn't limited? Everybody's nicked up right now. It's been 17 freaking games in a brutal sport that's literally like being in about 10 car wrecks every Sunday. The crazy thing about the Cowboys is everything that they've said that the Cowboys can't do. They said Dak Prescott, turnover machine. He's a bum. He's not a top 10 quarterback. Well, guess what? I'm going to say it's a two-horse race right now for league MVP. Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. I think if you're one of the two for MVP, I think you might be a top 10 quarterback. They said the Cowboys couldn't win the division. That was the Eagles. Last I checked, the Eagles are currently imploding, and they're talking about firing Nick Sirianni because the team has literally given up on the coach. They are literally just saying, F you, man. And that the word out there is, he's gone. The biggest collapse, they were talking about the worst collapse in Philadelphia sports history since 1960-something. The Cowboys have been brushing off all the things. They said we can't stop the run. Well, since the last game against Buffalo, the Cowboys are averaging only about giving up 75 yards a game. I think it's about 75. I'm guesstimating because there was only 50 yesterday, 126 against Miami, and the week before that, the Lions and the other one. It's been good. We've been good at stopping the run. So I think it's averaging about 75, which is doable. And you just got back Hankins being healthy. In fact, you look at across the board. I know Zach Martin will be there. Tyron Smith played really, really well. Bass, shout out to Bass, coming in and playing yesterday, ended up playing well. This might be the best offensive line we have going into the playoffs. Not that I'm saying that it's like Philadelphia's offensive line or San Francisco's or the Lions, but with the way your quarterback has been playing, who's been playing lights out. If Dak Prescott was any other quarterback, if Dak Prescott were Justin Herbert, even not being the number 2 seed, if Dak Prescott was Josh Allen, if Dak Prescott's numbers were Matthew Stafford's, if Dak Prescott's numbers were Jared Goff's, I guarantee you they'd say he's a shoo-in to be the league MVP. But of course, it's Dak Prescott, and nobody ever wants to believe in Dak. Nobody ever wants to believe in Dak. But it's funny. There's always a brand new flavor with Dak Prescott that gets compared to, that say that they're better than Dak, and somehow they're gone and they're on to the next guy. Dan Quinn, Washington, the Panthers, and the Chargers all want to talk to him about their head coaching vacancy. So he can have the pick of the litter of jobs right now. And I pray that we don't lose that guy. I really enjoyed doing the tailgate yesterday. I'm still physically burnt out from it. But I forgot how much fun it is to be hanging with all of the Cowboy fans. Yeah, I wish I were going to the playoff game in Dallas. I really wish I was going to be there, but just can't swing that one out. So I'll be here live streaming, and we'll be having a watch party, of course. Hope my crew can get in here, and I hope we watch our Cowboys get a victory. I appreciate y'all. Be safe out there. It's going to be some bad weather, at least on the East Coast. A lot of high gale wind gust warnings and 2 or 3 inches of rain. So it's going to get ugly out here. About as ugly as it is right now in Philadelphia. So there's that. As always, you know how I roll. Remember to tell the people you love them. You might not get the chance again. And I love you guys. And God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow.